Welcome back to the community, everybody, and thank you all for being part of it. I really do appreciate it, and I hope these videos have been helping folks out. If you would like to make a donation, buy a t-shirt or stickers to help out, go to the website. Everything is safe and secure. Today, I need your help in deciding one more time. I was going to do the blue, and I changed my mind on it because it almost didn't appeal to me, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing that Garrison did to his car with the Rustoleum and the 2K clear with hardener. Before anybody says anything, it'll be great. And it's a budget paint job, which is awesome because a lot of people may really need to do that. I'm going to show you a couple colors in a second here, and I'm going to show you the guide rails I'm working on. And then we're going to do a brake adjustment. I did have a few people on the one group asking, can you do a brake adjustment real quick? So I won't drag the video out real long on it. I'll show one wheel how to adjust it, and that's it. But it'll keep you from getting your brakes to run hot or the pedal going down too far. All right, let's go. Now I'll bring you up close in 1 second with the paint colors, but the reason I brought you to this part of the car is because it's the cleanest part you can see right now. Like I said, the slate blue, I was kind of hooked on it at first, but I'm going to need to paint my guide rails that I'll show you in a second. And I changed my mind on the color. So thankfully I did it quick enough before I started painting, because I got to paint the dash, the drip rail areas, stuff like that, the guide rails. So come on over here and look at this a minute for me. So this is Lotus White, the original color, all right? I'm not saying I don't like it, but I don't think that Rustoleum for a budget job has it in hand. So I found gloss almond. Obviously it would be darker, but I like it. It's kind of that dark cream color, so I don't know. And I'm not trying to match the color anyhow. And then we have heirloom white. So that's heirloom white. Let me do that. So heirloom white is probably getting closer to what the color of the car is. I mean, it's not close, but closer. The gloss almond I like because it has that dark cream look. So I don't know, like, tell me what you folks think. I don't know. I hate choosing paint colors. I always have. So, and I don't have a favorite color. Some people say, what's your favorite color? I don't have a favorite color. So, you know, I think that I think this would look nice, and this would be shinier because I'd be clear coating over it because that's a satin finish. But it is starting to get closer. If you put a clear coat over that, to the color of the car, in all sincerity. Just picture it with a clear coat. But then we have the gloss almond, which is a dark cream that I really like. So tell me what you think. One or the other. I'm only doing one of these two. I just haven't decided what yet. Yeah, this is kind of close. And once I shoot a clear coat on it, it'll probably be dang close. But I do like that really dark almond, that dark creamy color. So let me know what you folks think. So as you know, we did the series where I started it. Now I'm going to continue on it starting next week, next Friday. The drip rails. I keep saying drip rails, guide rails to put the seals in for the trunk. I ran into a couple little problems I'll show you up close. So these drip rails are 40 inches long. They're from Southern Cal Imports. They're thick. I believe they're thicker than stock. They're a little hard to bend. Now, I'm not going to have a problem here. I already hit this with my OSFO, phosphoric acid. Now I'll grind it out. Point being, when I put it here and I tack it into place or rivet it with my stainless steel rivets, I can bend this and tap it in, and it'll bend that way. All right, you following me? It's an awkward angle, but obviously this curves here. When I put this on, okay, and I tack it into place here, which is going to happen this coming week, you'll get to watch me next Friday get in a bad mood. Once I get this down here, it ain't going to bend very easy here. So I'm not a body man that way. I can do patches and stuff, but the only thing I can think of, unless somebody has a different idea, is maybe make some relief cuts here to get it to bend. because it's not going to bend that easy, you know, the way it is. So let me know what you think, because that's going to be next week's video. I got to get that done. One more thing, I'm always forgetting stuff. I don't know if you guys want to see stuff like this. One of the club members asked me to rebuild a German pedal assembly for him. So I found out which clutch hook, you know, he needed, because you have to get the right size with it. And Wolfsburg West, some parts, and a nice fresh pedal assembly. German. And of course I did that. I got to throw it up on a Samba Classifieds, because I'm not going to use those, so maybe it'll help somebody out. All right, so see, I had questions too for you folks. Sometimes I need help. Today, we're going to show you brake shoe adjustment. I'll keep this video pretty quick, because I got to get on this body work. That video will be up next Friday. This here is a wheel that the brakes are not adjusted on, which means the pedal goes down very low. So you want to keep your brakes adjusted so the pedal's right there. You know, I keep mine tight, but not the shoes against the drums. I mean, I like the pedal nice and tight. Obviously, a beautiful upgrade is to put disc brakes on. I did one for one of my friends, and it's like night and day. You can do disc brakes in the front, but you already know that, because that's where most of your stopping power is. When you smack them brakes on and everything leans forward, trust me, it's going to the front. Center of gravity kind of fictitiously shifts. Maybe that's a good way of putting it. But disc brakes in the front's a great idea. If you don't have the money, I'm going to show you how to adjust your drum brakes, because a lot of people still have drum brakes. You can buy disc for the rear, although the e-brake can be a little maniacal with some of them. But nonetheless, if you want to swap out, go ahead. You'll thank yourself immediately. But let's go ahead and do a brake shoe adjustment. So as you can see, he's just spinning away. Now, I'm going to take you behind here with me and show you exactly what to do. The first thing I need to tell you, don't go, mine's all apart, don't go adjusting your emergency brake cable first, or your handbrake cable, whatever you want to call it. I've actually seen some folks do that. Do not adjust your e-brake first, okay? That'll be in a different video, you know, where we can adjust that up. But point being, you want to adjust your brakes, not your handbrake, and then you can do the handbrake last. We're going to go ahead, slide down under here. I wanted to tell you that before I forgot. See, I always have everything going on, and I'm trying not to bore you with too long of a video, because now I'm trying to crunch them short. So, pardon me. Okay, first things first, let's turn our wheel. Okay, now you're going to obviously put your car in here and support it on jack stands safely. All right, and ignore the little joke here. There's no tie rods on here yet. But we had to turn the wheel so we could get to the adjusters. I'll show you real quick what the adjusters look like here from the last video. These are what the adjusters look like for those of you that are not familiar with them yet. They're very old style mechanical, and I show it on the backing plate so you know what it looks like when you're coming through the inspection hole with a screwdriver or a brake tool and you're turning the star, which turns the adjuster. So they're very easy. Make sure yours are always lubricated with anti-seize or whatever you choose. Now, something I am going to show you is you have inspection holes here too. These are the holes for the adjusters. These are the holes where the adjusters are for moving the brake shoes closer or further away from the drum. Get yourself a brake adjustment tool. It helps a lot. And these are the holes for the inspection holes to see how your brake shoes look. Do you have enough meat on them without pulling the drums off? These are the inspection holes. It makes it easy so that you don't have to pull the wheel when you want to take a look and see how much pad is left on the brake shoe. So it's actually a big help, and also to see how close they are to the drum if need be. Now obviously mine are new, but I still wanted to show you. So you're going to be able to see what they look like. And I'm going to show you something in the end to do with these holes to save yourself a lot of trouble. Now, you have your adjusters inside, as you're already aware. What you're going to need is a brake adjuster or a screwdriver. You can use a screwdriver. It doesn't have to be Craftsman, but if you want it to be. Your star adjusters are right here. Now, a lot of you know this, but for somebody that's new to this, don't laugh. We all had to start out somewhere. So, give the give the... Wasn't that interesting? I had the wheel turned too far, so it was scraping the floor pan. So give her a spin. As you see, it's just spinning forever. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust first. I'm going to use my tool. It's been around since the 70s, my dad had. So we're going to, they both turn the opposite way. Find out which way yours turns, and you're going to adjust it until the wheel stops. Now, every once in a while, give it a spin. Let me try the screwdriver a minute, see if it grabs easier. I'm looking through the camera lens instead of looking at it in real life, so it makes it a little more difficult. Not yet. Oh, guess what I did? I turned it the wrong way. Well, okay. Let's turn it the right way. The right direction always helps the brakes adjust better. Give it a little spin. We're getting there. Remember, mine were de-adjusted the whole way because I was working on them, so... I did that. They're not turning. We are on the top adjuster here. Count the click. 1, 2. Okay. Want to redo it? 1, 2. It won't turn. There's the reason. I thought it was able to turn it, but I'm doing this. So 1, 2. 1, I slid on it. 2. I don't like that. Let me retighten it. Okay, so we will go 1. Then grab it. 2. All right. Now we're going to go to the bottom and turn it the proper way. Not like last time. You want to do it till it tightens up. Could still turn it. Okay, I can barely turn it. You are going to do the same thing that you did up top. You're only going to go 2 clicks. 1, 2. Okay? And they should both be adjusted evenly. So, you tighten up until it don't turn. Then you back off how many clicks it takes to where it just starts to spin free. Then you go to your bottom adjuster, tighten it up to where it don't turn. Just to where it stops turning. Don't crank it with your hand. Then back off the same amount of clicks and see if it spins easily like that. If you do it that way, both shoes will be adjusted evenly, and that's what's important. Now, something else that you want to make sure of. They sell them this way. Okay, they sell them this way. Because you want to plug off these holes so that water doesn't get in there and end up causing you an issue. So you're going to put these on. Come on, get on there. There we go. You want to keep those in there. If you don't, then you have water getting in through these holes, and then you can run into a lot of issues. So make sure that you put them caps on. They're very cheap, but buy the good quality ones from like West Coast Metric that are good quality rubber and not plastic. It's very important to keep the brakes adjusted because now if you do all 4, I'm not going to bore you with all 4 wheels. It wouldn't make sense. Do the same thing on each wheel. But when you adjust it and it gets tight, that don't mean you crank on that star adjuster. Just snug it up till the wheel won't turn. and then you'd go a click or two or three back, whatever makes the wheel spin free again. Just as it starts to spin free, that's when you stop and go to the other shoe. You need them both evenly, the same clicks opened, so that the brake shoes expand the same. That should make sense, hopefully. Then just do all the rest of the wheels that way, and you can do your e-brake last. I hope everybody enjoyed that video. I really try to show everything I can because there's a lot of new folks on here, and it has been great seeing the comments, thanking for the videos. That's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and start on these. I'm going to have to close these holes off. I got the OSPHO on there, phosphoric acid, and I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. We got to get that part done. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next Friday.